Familynestacademy, a place where families are empowered to fulfill their destiny, a place where families can build legacy, a place where families can enjoy a wholesome and fulfilling life. And more.
Hello, welcome back to our wholesome family series. And today, do you know what we want to talk about? Very important topic and issues that most times people don't even know that it exists. Family blind spots. They are what hurts the family that we don't see. They are the things that happen in the family that only people outside or some people who comes in once in a while may be able to pick. But we that are operating in the family may not even know that it happens. It's not a sin. It's just that blind spots are common and they are normal. Every individual have their blind spot. But it's our willingness and our openness to really accept that blind spot when someone picks it that helps us learn and grow and make the required changes. And yes, welcome back to Familynestacademy series of the Wholesome Family series, and I remain your host, Princess Francisca Obi Chimizi. Let's talk about something most homes suffer from, but only few ever admit that it exists. And like I've said before, is blind spot sin? No, it's not a sin. It might be things that are happening within the home that you don't know they are happening. But maybe one person in the family has picked it up, or one or two people are suffering the consequences of that blind spot. They are just dysfunctions that hide in plain sight, okay? Until they damage something. And that is why we are picking it out, because our purpose in this nest is to help families see things that we do not see on a normal day, or help us work on those areas of life that even though they may not look significant at a point, they accumulate and then become an instrument of destruction or causing trouble within the family system. It can become a pattern if we ignore it, and pattern will always transcend generations. Okay, so it's our duty as families to break things on time so they don't become a pattern, so we don't transmit it to the next generation of our children, because anything we don't resolve becomes a struggle that your children and the next generation will keep fighting about. So it's better we will not be able to fight all our battles, that's the truth. But your intentional actions and structures help you to minimize the battles your children will fight, because the generation they are also have their evolving challenges that becomes a battle they must fight. Okay? You have to understand that sometimes it's not the enemy outside the home that destroys families. It's those blind spots. Most of us that occupy our time binding and casting, some things we bind and cast are within us. Sometimes it's our lack of self-control. Sometimes it's our selfish interests, selfish desires. Sometimes it's our indulgence that we could put into control. Those are the things that eat up the seeds in our home. Those are the things that destroy our labor in the home. It's not the enemy. So we need to know how to channel our battles so we don't waste time praying for what God is looking up to us to work on. Let me tell you about a story. So there's this dad, a man of God, very godly, very responsible, very reliable, I would say, because he's able to do whatever is expected of him. But because he grew up not knowing the passion and expression of love from his family, apparently the parents that grew him, that trained him, his own parents, did not understand emotional intelligence, so they didn't bother expressing their love, hugging him, affirming him and all that. So he grew up, struggled, became successful, and then vowed to provide and take care of his children and his family. However, the children grew up feeling emotionally disconnected because he never had to tell them I love you or even hug them, that show of affection. But did he love his children? Perfectly he did. If not, he wouldn't bother all the struggles of providing for them, sponsoring their demands and all that. Is it a sin? No, it's not. He thinks he's doing his best, and he is. However, that blind spot of not being able to verbalize his love and affection, to express it, because he's a boss man, made his children to grow up emotionally starved. And the effect was more pronounced on the girl child. One thing I must let us know is any child, especially the girl child, who grows up without much expression of love, affirmation, and emotional support from the family will grow up a needy child. When we say children are or people are EUP, the emotionally unstable personality disorders and all that, they are seeking to fill their tank that has been left empty by the people who are meant to fill it. And who are those people? Her parents. So when you meet these children, they are very demanding. They always want attention. But it's a personality disorder because it has grown over time. They want to do something just to get you on one-on-one talking with them, even if it means self-harming. Yes, it becomes a mental health condition, which I believe the parents never intended to, but they were blind spots that was never handled. These blind spots, like I said, sometimes they are just inherited. They may be trauma responses, okay? They may even be survival habits that we are never questioned. So some things we grew up with at home that we are normalized, but they were not the right things. And then we grew up embracing them. We now even take it to our home because it has become our personality, right? You see some things like parents micromanaging their children because they were not allowed freedom of expression of any kind. They were not allowed to play like children. They were not allowed to explore under supervision. So you see, as a child is stepping a feet, the mother is shouting, come down. As the child is doing, the father is shouting, what are you doing? Do you want to get hurt? Even things on a normal day that won't hurt a child. But because our mind is framed up in such a way that we are at alert that anything can go wrong, we shortchange our children and limit their curiosity. We limit their exploring abilities. We make them dependent on us to protect them. These children grow up sometimes not being able to take advantages of opportunities with confidence because while growing up, mommy and daddy did not allow them to explore or to give chance to discovering things by themselves, making some attempts and all that. When you keep shutting down a child who tried to climb, do colors, splash, do all those their messy things they do, because to us is a mess, but we don't discover that for them is a creative building opportunities. You see that these children grow up not having that self-motivation to try new things. They don't have the self-motivation to discover new things because their brain has been shut up, and before they take any step, that voice of their parents comes up. If you do this thing, you may get hurt. If you do this thing, something may go wrong. The negativity keep ringing, and then you see them withdraw. What if I fail? What if things go wrong? So they are always first projecting the negativity before even giving chance to the positivity. So that's the danger we don't see in micromanaging our children. Do we say you should allow them to get hurt? No. What we are saying is allow them take those bold steps, make gradual exploration, and guide them. Don't shut them down. Okay? If a child cannot take small steps of climbing a tree, climbing a staircase, climbing a chair or a table, and you guiding them, they will lack the confidence to take the even bold step of doing greater things. So those small things they do is what helps them gain confidence in trying another level of adventure or exploration and building capacity and exploring greater things. Every child that has created a thing has been an explorative child. They have been children given opportunity to break things, try and fix them, unscrew things, try to screw them back. They are children who have been given a platform, starting from home, a garage, to just do things, scatter things, give them a spoiled phone to try and fix, give them a spoiled laptop to try and fix, instead of going to throw them away, or instead of looking for who to dash it, give it to your children to try to find out how does this thing. These are the ways children explore. Sorry, I'm moving out of line with what we are discussing, so I'm coming back to let us understand that sometimes micromanaging is a blind spot, which I don't blame anybody. It started from whoever trained us, because we are products of who trains us and our environment. Okay, let me tell us another thing before I talk about what research has shown concerning this issue of blind spot. So we are also talking about, in blind spots, you see children who talk carelessly because their parents never correct them when they are sarcastic in communication, like when they talk anyhow just to make people laugh. You see these children, it becomes a normal. I've met children who are, oh God, vulgar, who can talk like ungroomed and untrained people. And I ask myself, are these children not coming from homes? Definitely they are. But the truth is that it's either it has been normalized to just talk, people laugh, or just open their mouth and talk anyhow, abuse one another. In fact, it has led me to start writing a book. Let me not go there. So what I'm saying is, these things becomes a blind spot when our children pick up words, become sarcastic in the way they talk, carelessly, and then they come home, they talk, mommy and daddy laughs. It becomes, now after it's making the atmosphere lively, we talk, but our children become unpolished. These children are not able to engage with kings, higher authorities. They are not able to talk respectfully because at home it has become normal. These are the shapes of blind spots, because with their siblings and mom, it's normal to just talk and everyone laugh. They may no longer know when not to talk that way, especially in public, because they bring it among their peers. Peers are laughing and smiling. When they meet authorities, they are not able to engage professionally or honorably because they've not been groomed or taught to do so. Blind spots. Blind spots can come in different forms. It can be spiritual families who pray, study the Bible, do things together, connect, but they never apologize or talk about emotions. So you see children growing up, it's prayer, it's Bible. Mommy does not even say sorry when she does something wrong. She even use Bible to cover it. Daddy does not even know how to say I love you and all that. It becomes a norm. But these are blind spots, okay? Because they end up affecting what we really want to build. Okay, excuse me. They end up not giving us the expected result. So you see your child always frowning, and you're wondering, why is your face like this? Even some of us who even abuse the child add to it. Why are you always frowning? Why is it everybody in the family is smiling, but you are always the one in bad mood? There is something that you are not seeing in that child. That child is asking for something that is a blind spot to you, And because of how you have always responded or reacted, that child may not feel free to express herself to you. But there's something you have not picked up. Okay? Is a puzzle to you that you must have to find. That is a blind spot that it requires you taking up to find out about that child. And the child may not even know how to express himself to you. Maybe he thinks that he will not understand. But you need to not let it slide. Don't ignore it, because it will build up over time and you may lose connection to that child. And you know the result? That child will go out seeking to fill that void elsewhere or somehow. Okay, so back to what the research says. Families that lack open communication are more prone to hidden resentment, silent trauma, and unspoken pain. I will repeat that. Families that lack open communication are prone to hidden resentment, silent trauma, and unspoken pain. So, a family that does not communicate effectively, we build a lot of blind spots, such as resentment. We see partners resenting themselves, but they cannot speak up because they've not built a communication that is effective. They don't know how to relate their feelings and their emotions. So they don't even know how to confront situations. They don't know how to resolve conflict. So they build up resentment, unforgiveness. It becomes a trauma, not just to the parents, but also the children. Because the children are not able to tell mommy the truth, because mommy will slap the hell out of them. They are not able to express their feelings to daddy, because who are you to tell me you're angry? You're not supposed to be angry. Who gives you the right? Okay, we raise traumatized children. Okay, unspoken pain. We feel pain, children feel pain, they're not able to talk to anybody, nobody understands, nobody have my time, I've seen children self-harm, do a lot of things, and when I ask them, you know what they tell me? Nobody cares, I don't even care about myself, I keep asking for attention, nobody has my time, everybody's busy. I've mentioned about emotional and stable personality disorder. These are built from families because children lack the required attention and emotional connection as they are growing up. Then these traumas, according to research, when they are not confronted, becomes a curriculum that is passed on to the next generation. So most things we talk about does not end with us. When they are corrected, they support a better generation. But when they are not, they are transferred as a burden to the next generation, which is a very reason why we must handle these issues. Okay? I want to ask you, let's be practical. Do your children feel safe enough to tell you hard things that are difficult, things that will even challenge you, things that will question what you know or your authority? How do we handle when our children question our authorities? Do I say your child should? But I don't even have that right to say it, because most times they will. It's part of their learning curve that they will want to ask questions. Sometimes the question they will ask you will be wondering who sent this one. But yes, that's the way they learn. And that's how your ability to manage the situation, your ability to respond maturely and as someone with a higher understanding will help that child build a better perspective or crumble under your watch. Sometimes when they do things, they want to know how firm you are with authority and your position. But doing and all that is not the right way. It's using your wisdom to engage with them, standing firmly to affirm your position in that area they are questioning. Okay? Another question. Do you and your spouse resolve conflict, or you just sweep it under the rug? Let there be peace. I don't want conflict. I don't want trouble. If I raise it now, he will start shouting up and down. If I talk about it now, she will start denying me my rights and all that. Is it what is obtainable in your home? Because if it is, you will raise family that is sweeping and building up resentment. But resentment can never be swept off. it can only be built up, and it will become a major part of the home. It will get life. You know what it means for something to become alive, and anything that has life has the ability to overtake. Don't let resentment build up in your home. Learn conflict resolution skills. There are books on that. Learn effective communication. You may not be there. I am not there. We are not there. Nobody is there. But like I said, family is not about perfection. It's about willingness to continue building, continue working, and building a better you. And that is what Familyness is all about. Building as a family, learning every day, areas of blind spots, areas that need to be worked on, and putting the action in place, and see your home transform, see your children know better, function better, become better, and then you are able to fulfill your purpose and build legacies. Okay, there are cycles of shouting and avoidance, of favoritism, or even spiritual hypocrisy that no one ever talks about. Can your child say, mommy is a genuine believer, daddy is a true Christian? Or are there things they have seen that they can't even talk to you about because we shut them up? I talk about a lot of hypocrisy and all that because I've seen children who cannot say mommy and daddy are genuine, even though they are major stakeholders in church. Blind spots are not just flaws, okay? They are legacy shapers. They shape who you become. And if we don't deal with them, we hand them down. It becomes a family heirloom. It becomes an inheritance. It becomes the gift we pass to our children on their wedding day because we have refused to deal with what needs to be dealt with. And that is why we should have a family therapy, or let me not use the word therapy because people are scared of that word. A family support system, okay? A family organization that helps you talk about issues around homes, and you're able to pick from here and reflect in your family what is happening that you may not see on a normal day. I still bring you back to Familynestacademy. If you're interested in building family that is consistently growing and becoming a better version, kindly put in the chat and the admin will get to you for further information on that. So how do we break free from family blind spot? How do we handle family blind spot? 1, ask brave questions. Questions that will allow your children or spouse to talk about areas of struggles freely with you. Okay? Ask your children what they wish that is done differently. Your children have ideas. They are the ones you are grooming in that environment, in that system. They should be able to have voices that matter, and they should feel that yes, their voices matter. So ask them. Let them express what they feel will work more effectively with them. Of course, it should not compromise the standard of the family, but it should be able to help them align and feel as a major part of your home. Okay? Invite feedback. There should be reviews, regular reviews in your home, just like organizations does. Your family is an organization, it's a business organization, and if you don't take it serious, you will destroy it. The enemy will buy your family business from you, because that's the business of the devil, to destroy homes, marriages, children, and cause more havoc in the world, in the society. So you should be able to have a home where a feedback is given and reflect, and things are worked on, and children are able to see that their feedback are put into considerations. Thirdly, normalize apology. Apology should be a norm. Yes. Children thrive in an environment where everyone is open to say sorry when they are wrong. Not always claiming right. Nobody is always right. As a parent, that does not make you always right. You also have your flaws. You also misunderstand these situations. You also make mistakes. When you normalize these things, your children also grows up. It becomes a norm. They don't struggle to say sorry, not just to you, even outside. They don't struggle to hide their their mistakes and shame. They work on it, they improve. But when we don't work on our own and we don't give room for improvement, how do we expect our children to grow and become better? So normalize apology, accept things when they go wrong, and work towards improving it. It's a growth process, it's a growth mindset. Okay, pray with openness. Don't just pray for your family, pray with them about the hard things, about nitty-gritties of life. Teach them everything matters in prayer, because you depend on God. And that's what we do in prayer, counting on God, telling God about everything. Okay, at a point my daughter was like, is it everything you pray about? I say, yes, darling, we have nothing and we are nothing without God. So everything we pray about it. And I thought, before you come to ask mommy or daddy anything, first ask God, because it's God that will provide it for mommy and daddy. And at this stage, she knows. So when she comes, have you talked to God about it? Yes. Have you talked to God? Well done. Have you talked to God about it? No. Kindly go and talk to God first, so that God will give it to mommy and we will give it to you. What are we doing? Normalizing that prayer is essential, and it's something you should be open to, so that you don't grow up becoming self-reliant and then thinking that you are doing everything, especially if you are in a developed world where you think it's all about science, it's all about government, and people lose regard for God. You need to consciously internalize it in your children, that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And finally, before I conclude, let's try to get help when the need arises. There are professionals, there are people, there are systems that have been equipped to support in different areas of life. Know when and where and who to get to for help. Don't die in silence. Some homes are being destroyed because the father has refused to seek for solution. The mother has refused to ask for help. They don't want what people will say. People are minding their own families and their own homes. Everyone have their own struggles. So it's only that they come in different forms and shapes and seasons. So in any season you find yourself, in any form or shape of challenge you have, kindly reach out to family coaches, family life coaches, or people in that area. If it's about drug, you have professionals, you have organizations that handle those things. If you don't know, ask at least the closest organization you are in alliance with, or the closest community you are in alliance with. Like if you're a Familynestacademy and you have any of these challenges, we will channel you to the right professional to handle it, to walk through the journey with you. And yes, that's how you'll be able to keep growing, keep being better. Will there be challenges? Definitely. In life, challenges cannot be avoided. The same thing in families. And it's not about. So let's focus on our own family and build and work on our own blind spots, so that heaven will be glad over us. It's not about what people think about us. It's about what eternity is looking at. It's about what heaven is looking at. It's about what we are building for generations yet unborn. And stop hiding it. Share it with the right person, the right professional, the right community, and get help as soon as possible. Humility will give you opportunity to see things that pride will not allow you to see. So go for that which benefits your family, and remember to subscribe, share, and yes, invite other families to enjoy these free resources. And if you want to join our community, which will give you the details when you chat up any of the admin. And yes, I'm glad to have been of valuable asset to you today. Princess Francisca Obichimize remains my name. See you next time, and do have a lovely day.